Samantha and her friends were on a hike when they stumbled upon an abandoned house. The house was old and dilapidated, with broken windows and vines growing up the walls. Samantha couldn't resist the urge to explore it, and her friends reluctantly followed. As they stepped inside, the air grew thick with dust and cobwebs. The floorboards creaked beneath their feet, and the walls were covered in peeling wallpaper. Samantha led the way, flashlight in hand, as they made their way through the dark interior. The silence was oppressive, broken only by the sound of their footsteps. Suddenly, they heard a sound coming from upstairs. It was a faint tapping, like someone was knocking on a door. Samantha's heart raced as she led the way up the stairs, her friends following close behind. As they approached the top, they saw a shadow moving in the darkness. It was hard to make out what it was, but it seemed to be getting closer. Suddenly, a figure stepped out of the shadows. It was an old man, his face twisted into a grotesque grin. He was holding a large knife, and his eyes glinted in the darkness. Samantha and her friends tried to back away, but he lunged forward, swinging the knife wildly. Samantha and her friends ran for their lives, racing down the stairs and out the front door. They didn't stop until they were miles away from the abandoned house, gasping for breath and shaking with fear. They never spoke of the incident again, but Samantha couldn't shake the feeling that they had narrowly escaped something far more sinister than just an old man with a knife. As Samantha and her friends huddled together, trying to make sense of what had just happened, they realized they were being watched. In the distance, they could see the shadowy figure of the old man, still holding the knife. But he wasn't alone. There were others with him, lurking in the shadows, their eyes glowing in the darkness. Samantha and her friends knew then that they had stumbled upon something far more dangerous than they had ever imagined. They ran as fast as they could, desperate to escape the clutches of the unknown terror that haunted the abandoned house. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. Samantha tried to put the incident behind her, but she could never forget the feeling of terror that had gripped her that day. She knew that the abandoned house was still out there, waiting to claim its next victim. Years went by, and Samantha had almost forgotten about the abandoned house. But one day, as she was walking through the woods, she stumbled upon it again. The vines had grown thicker, the windows were shattered, and the front door hung off its hinges. But something was different this time. There was no sign of the old man or his followers. As she stepped back outside, Samantha realized that she had finally conquered her fear. The abandoned house was no longer a place of terror, but a symbol of the strength she had gained from facing her deepest fears.